So I bought back the AMX 5120 with the silver that I got from the Revelarize. So instead of getting a Revelarize, you get 3 million silver and some boost odds, right? So I get the 5120 back. Now, the gun, when it's fully upgraded, is a 120. It reloads without food or a good crew in 34 seconds, and it dumps the magazine in 10 seconds. It's a 2.5 second reload between shells, I believe, so we're going to check that out right now. I never totally noticed, to be honest. Yeah, 3 seconds actually. So you've got a potential to do 1600 damage in 12 seconds. Now, as you'll notice, I've gone full APCR. Now, if you make those shells count, yes, you're still going to lose money, and I run food as well because I'm trying to grind the marks of excellence on this tank. But if you make them count, you will negate the losses that you make with the silver. And also, here's a thing about the choice to run those rounds. Okay, this tank has nothing for armor, so if you've played the 5100, you will know that French tanks were designed to be fast. So fast tanks have no armor, pretty much, right? Now, it can bounce tier 7 low caliber guns on the front of the hull, upper plate, and that's it. So if I'm going to go out in front of absolutely anyone, I don't want to bounce these rounds at all. I want to make sure they're pen. So 300 pen. And then you'll notice on that shot that took me a lot to work out the gun elevation. That's because elevation and depression on this vehicle are not fantastic. It's not going to fight over ridges that well, in the same respects as a T10 doesn't fight over ridges that well. Now remember, you're an automatic loading tank. You've got to be static or running away for 30 plus seconds. If you get the 90, if you play with the 100mm, you do get a much quicker reload, and you get the 6-shot auto loader that you had from the 5100. So your massive alpha is gone, but the ability for you to dish out 400 a round and on this cannon. So yeah, your 90mm, your 100mm, sorry, is going to do more clip potential, but not as much in a round. And you get a slightly quicker reload, but you don't get as much penetration in your standard or your APCR rounds. But all rounds really, and to get you ready for the 50B, my opinion is to play the 4-shot gun on this tank, because it's going to ready you for the 50B. Now, just to point out as well, you can ram in this tank like you can in the 50B. It doesn't have much armor though, so don't be ramming heavy tanks or heavy medium tanks. So ram light tanks, ram lighter mediums, and that's the way you dish out the damage, especially if you can get a spool liner on this tank and some crew skills like controlled impact. But that would be something that I would do at a later date if you were going to keep this tank. So, as you can see, we were quick enough to be able to get to this castle from the south spawn, the same place that I got the other day in a different tank. I just thought that I would try it in this one. Now, the tank that we've killed was a Super Pershing, who was giving me a bit of a headache, to be honest, to begin with. It was But you know, natural progression, we finally managed to start making the rounds pen after he'd gone for bad angling. So here's where the enemy made big mistakes. See the big triangle on D7? That's a T95. So what they went to do is to not play the cap at all and to fully defend the other side of the map with their heavy armor. They tried to protect us coming around on them. So they went for a total destruction game instead of a win by cap or a cap pressure match, right? So we now have a cap, we now have a tank that is going to enter the cap circle, which is perfecto. So we have now got really more than 2/3 of the map under our control. The enemy team, now they've lost their artillery, don't have sky threat. They basically control A, B and C 6-0. And they're about to lose the 6th part. So now they control nothing. Basically an irrelevant part of the map over the far side. So now they've got to try and turn around their 2 tier 9 tanks, which are tank destroyers. One has armour and is really slow, the T95, and the other one is the tier 9 waffle. So here's the reason that we're never going to win this game. They had to turn those tanks around and try to come back this way when they're not that fast, for one. And they are way out of position and have to come through being spotted, artillery, and being shot at. The other tanks that supposedly went to do something like defend the cap came down behind me in the A1, and because I was there, they couldn't come around. Now don't forget, I've got a platoon of 5 as well, so that position that I took was due to being with them, a good situation. So I really feel, I tried to get this guy turned around the other way, which, whatever situation this guy put himself in, it was over. Now as you can see, gun depression is giving me a problem. Gun depression over the sides, gun depression over the front. We finally get that fixed. And we take him out. So there you go, in a nutshell, that's the AMX 5120. No armoured, relatively fast, devastating firepower, lots of silver loss if you play all premium, but hey, I play premium tanks for these reasons, so if I'm going to lose money, I'll make it back at a later date. Anyway, that's the 5120, thanks for watching.